Well, I just got done watching Retro Hardware, and I was thinking that he was describing the crash of 1983, and basically how all these third-party companies were making video games and systems that were crap and fear and everything else. And I thought about it, and I'm like, now I see why everybody's talking about, the next big crash. So far, we've seen EA produce a bunch of games that are either incomplete or DLC on day one, online pass, and just crappy games. Um, now, um, you buy stuff on the PSN or Xbox and you don't actually physically own it, so once the servers get shut down, you lose your game. Or if you do a hardware transfer. So overall, there's a potential of basically a bunch of games and DLC that you bought in a couple of years not be available. So yeah, I have a strong feeling that yeah, we're about to see another video game crash. But the thing that I thought was cool, and I'm gonna have this listed down on my links, is this new video game system, the Ouya, originally that currently has 63,000 backers and 63,416 backers. Originally asked for 95, $9,050,000. They currently now have close to 8,596,474 for their system. It's a open-ended, open source using the Android system. Went online, checked out the website, and you can pre-order the system now. That's supposed to ship out in March, and basically for the cost of what you used to pay for a Super Nintendo, you can get two controllers, the system, and good to go. Now people talk about piracy and everything else, but let's be honest. It's an open source Android system. Plain and simple, gamers want this because they want something different and inexpensive, but still have quality games. And there's a good possibility with indie developers making it and not having big developers. I mean, you have some big developers, but they won't have the level of control that they think they're going to get with this system because it's based on Android. It's going to be phenomenal. So, the other part of my video tonight is just, I'm going to list off some of the guys that I just think are cool to watch. Now, some of the guys I watch is Happy Console Gamer. Excellent reviewer, like his stuff, really passionate, and just a happy-go-lucky guy. I enjoy his stuff immensely. Now, the next guy I'm going to make is going to be, I think it's called, give me 1 second as I pull this up, but I think his name is Razorback. But basically, as soon as and this is the thing I said, hey, my computer's utterly crap. Of course, I have friends send me this thing. And another thing, whatever you do, do not buy a Dell computer. Of course, now, both of my things crashing. Oh my god. Here it goes. Another guy I like, I'll get back to the other one, is surprisingly enough, he reminds me of a lot of these guys. I'm gonna mention what they remind me of. Leisure Suit Gamer reminds me of Dennis Leary. Foul mouth, but still smart and witty, and just makes you laugh. Love his stuff. Don't agree with everything, but you know. Alpha Omega Sin is another great guy. The best way to describe Alpha Omega Sin stuff is basically, I consider him to be like the Henry Rollins of just video game reviewers. Razor Fist. If there was ever a guy that I ever seen that reminded me of Dennis Miller, where in which you would need a dictionary and a fucking thesaurus to figure out what he's saying half the time. You got Harvard and, you know, other collegiate schools just saying, what the fuck did he just say? This will be that guy. Does great reviews, got great insight into the video game industry as a whole, and he is not ashamed to say that, you know, they're fucking up, and I have to agree with him. L1 Gamer is another one of my favorites. I've recently seen him and his series on video gaming. He's a video game owner of a small business and gives his side of things. And of course, I have a real love for Game Chasers, which now when I go out and tell the wife I'm going to buy video games, I tell her I'm going to go game chasing. And there's one more guy in my list of favorites. Radim Z1. Fellow Portlandier, great stuff. Love his series, especially I Don't Buy It sets. Great guy, great social commentary. I would recommend anybody to listen to these guys' shows. They will all be listed on here. Now, I heard Razor Fist talk about this guy, but I like Angry Joe, the Angry Joe Show, and this is the reason why. Angry Joe helped me save me a lot of money, because I was about to go out and buy an infamous video game called Street Fighter Cross Tekken. But right before I was about to put the pre-order in and actually order this game, Angry Joe came on and I saw his new thing, and he informs me of the DLC. And I'm like, so you want me to pay $60 for a game and then pay X amount of money for additional DLC that's on the disc? No. You sell me the whole game or you don't sell it to me at all. Real simple. So I didn't buy it. I was interested in Battlefield 3, but one hearing about the online pass and everything else, because I played a game called Battlefield 2142. It was kind of like the science fiction version of Battlefield 3. You know, you had support options and all that, and I really enjoyed the game. So I wouldn't mind playing the new Battlefield, because I like the whole teamwork, you know, supplying your group, all that stuff. But I'm not willing to pay a bunch of money for a game that never ends. Well, at least with Battlefield 2142, it plays like Battlefield 3 in my personal opinion. And on top of that, there's no online pass. It's a PC game, which, you know, you gotta have a PC. But, you know, you pay for it once and you're done. Now, whether or not the servers are still on or not, who knows. But, that's basically it. Like I said, I find it quite interesting with, and it's kind of like trickling down the line. Like you're seeing, like, the crash about to happen. You know, we're here, and the crash is like down here, and it's like slowly every couple of days, and with new units coming out and a bunch of all this other BS, it just looks like it's going to be imminent. And that will probably explain the latest resurgence of retro gaming. People going out and buying, getting their Super Nintendos and Sega Genesis and buying used games, stuff like there's no tomorrow, and price hikes in used games because they have some value. To be completely honest, the current game line of PS3, I have, like I said in preview, I have more PS2 and PS1 games than I have PS3. I got 3 total in my PS3 library, which is Deus Ex, Dark Sector, and Metal Gear 4. None of them are heavy DLC carriers, and the DLC that's in Metal Gear 4 is all free. My Xbox 360, to be completely honest, due to the fact that I'm running out of hard drive space, I just don't like how I have to pay for everything to get any form of functionality out of it. And I am one of the people who pretty much stays at a silver member level because I don't see the point, nor have the money to drop every month or spend $60 for a year pass, where $60 literally my household pays for gas, food, and everything else. Gaming falls short. Now, I consider myself as a hardcore gamer, and the reason I can say this is because I've owned Nintendo, Sega Genesis, been playing for years. I'm just now starting to build my collection back over again. I've owned GBA, uh, Game Boy, SP, and Advance. Used to be a Nintendo fanboy for a while. Really liked their stuff, and then basically what sold me was once uh, Squaresoft left and went over to Sony, I jumped on the Sony bandwagon and didn't think they could do any wrong. Now, up until the PS3 came out, and then with the price tag and the limited amount of games, I'm like, no. I called Game Informer directly and asked them, hey, what system should I go? And they told me hand down go with the Xbox. I went with the Xbox, and over the years and the issues I've had with Xbox, I don't know if I should. I think I should have went with the PS3 and got the Xbox later, just because I have a backwards compatible one, and it's just so much easier to deal with everything. My videos, all of my entertainment options were wrapped up into that one machine. Now, of course, I have the backwards compatible one, but to be honest, you can pretty much play everything. Xbox is just a heaping pile of non-backward compatibility BS, and I utterly hate it. But to be honest, the Xbox ain't been turned on in like at least 3 or 4 months, and I got games that I haven't even beat yet, but they're sitting up on the shelf. The problem being is half of them. I mean, mine is the Space Marine. The main one that I want to finish up is going to be like Mass Effect 2. But after hearing about the DLC, how bad Mass Effect 3 is, and how much I had to pay for more DLC to get an actual decent ending, I'm about ready to turn in my copies of Mass Effect directly back and just say like, here, I'm done. I'm out. Um, but yeah, talked to the wife today, and we're definitely going to get the Ouya, and it's really exciting because I think this will be basically the new thing. Because if you can get a Kickstart program, what's going now this could backfire. It could be like 1983. You get this to happen, and then other people start trying to get Kickstart programs to make their own personal system, and next thing you know, you got 45 different other systems out there and everything else, and it just flood the market. But people are starting to care less, and as you can see by EA revenues, and same thing with SquareSoft, especially Sega, they're all hemorrhaging money like nobody. And Sony is just as bad as all of them. And yeah, people are the general public are caring less and less about gaming, and falling into like, I can't really afford this, and parents are not going to want to spend copious amounts of money on something that just never ends. Parents are going to want to buy a game and that's it, not a game, a subscription for a year, and $30, $40 here and there to get more DLC, and just taking up more and more hard drive space on your bloody system. And that's the other thing. They're taking up space where in which you just need an 8 meg memory card to now you need like upwards of 300, 320 for the Xbox, 500 for the PS3 to store a significant amount of games. I got the 20 gig, and I'm like basically maxed out because I have Borderlands Game of Year Edition and Fallout 3 Game of Year Edition and some other miscellaneous game saves, and it's just ridiculous. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I do appreciate the fact that the company that makes, I think it's that makes Borderlands, uh, that the simple fact that they came out with Game of Year edition for their stuff, because I'm not gonna lie, it makes sense. It makes it where, you know, you physically have a copy of your game in hand versus, you know, not having DLC that you can possibly wind up losing in the long run. 2K, yeah, 2K games um, came out with the Game of the Year edition. I'm not gonna lie, it's bloody freaking brilliant. I love when companies have enough common sense to release a Game of the Year edition with substance where you get everything. Bethesda, I didn't buy New Vegas, but I'm more willing to buy New Vegas Ultimate Edition for my system than anything else. What I'm not willing to buy is Mass Effect 3 for the 360. Because my understanding is I can get it for the PS3 and get $100 worth of DLC with the PS3 version and not get that much on the other one. And that's bullshit. So, that's basically it. So, like I said, the guys who I love to watch are Alpha Omega, Razor Fist, 8-Bit, who do Game Chasers, Rodham Z, which just cracks me up every time. Another L1 Gamer. That's like pretty much the main ones that I sit around and like can just get sucked into for hours and just watch. And they also, Razor Fist and Alpha Omega Sin has a podcast which they have broadcast pretty regularly from what I can see, called the Hate Bit Podcast, where they all get together and discuss the faults in the industry, what's new, what's hot, and their take on just gaming as a whole and everything else. And like I said, I'd like any group that can possibly save me copious amounts of money, and so far they have. There have been a lot of guys um, that has basically informed me what games not to buy, and I choose not to buy them now due to that fact. So this is Dark Gyra. I'm out, and yes, I love chilling in my house coat because I'm a house coat kind of guy. Because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm a complete night owl. Peace.